Is loyalty dead in modern baseball, or are we just witnessing the ruthless efficiency of the business side taking over completely? Welcome back, guys. Today, we are diving headfirst into the chaotic waters of the 2026 MLB season. We haven't even thrown the first pitch of opening day yet, but the Sharks are already circling. The trade deadline isn't just a date on the calendar, it's a guillotine hanging over the heads of veterans on mediocre teams and rising stars stuck in contract limbo. We are looking at 25 names, yes, 25, that you need to memorize right now because by July, they might be wearing completely different colors. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and start with the absolute elephant in the room. Tarik Skubal. If you are a Detroit Tigers fan, you might want to cover your ears. This 29-year-old lefty isn't just good, he is arguably the best pitcher on the planet right now. We are talking about back-to-back AL Cy Young Awards and an ERA under 2.80 for 3 straight years. He is the face of the franchise. But here is the brutal reality. Skubal hits free agency after this season. The Tigers are desperate to make a World Series run, but if they stumble out of the gate, if they are 5 games back in June, the front office has to make a business decision. Losing him for nothing is a fireable offense. Imagine the haul they could get. It would reset their farm system for a decade. The tension in Detroit is going to be suffocating until the deadline passes. Now let's shift gears to Queens. Mark Vientos of the Mets. Talk about a roller coaster. In 2024, he looked like the future at third base. 27 homers, playoff heroics, the works. Fast forward to now, and he feels like a spare part. His defense regressed, his bat went cold, and the Mets went out and signed Bo Bichette, Marcus Semien, and Jorge Polanco. Vientos is suddenly the odd man out, watching Brett Beatty take his reps. It's a classic case of, what have you done for me lately? The Mets are in win-now mode, and they can't wait for Vientos to figure it out. I expect him to be packaged in a deal way before July. Then there's the bullpen market, which is always a bloodbath. Mark Leiter Jr. signed with the Athletics, and while his 4.84 ERA in the Bronx last year wasn't pretty, his underlying metrics from previous years suggest he's a prime bounce-back candidate. If he starts hot in Oakland, contenders will be lining up. And speaking of awkward situations, look at Ryan Mountcastle in Baltimore. The Orioles signed Pete Alonso. Let that sink in. Mountcastle is now an expensive bench piece with declining power numbers. The writing isn't just on the wall, it's painted in neon letters. He needs a fresh start, and Baltimore needs to clear that roster spot. As we dig deeper into this list, we have to look at the history of power hitters who act as mercenaries. Jorge Soler fits this archetype perfectly. He is currently with the Angels, and let's be honest, the Halos aren't exactly projected to be juggernauts in the AL West. Soler's 2025 was rough. Injuries limited him to half a season, and he barely hit above the Mendoza line. But here is the context we can't ignore. Soler is a World Series MVP caliber player when he's hot. Remember 2021 with the Braves? That's what teams are buying. They aren't buying the batting average. They are buying the threat of a 450-foot bomb in October. If he stays healthy until July, a contender needing a DH will overpay for that lightning in a bottle. Now let's analyze a fascinating case study in environment. Luis Severino. He signed a 3-year deal with the A's, and on the surface, a 4.54 ERA looks like a bad investment, but you have to look closer at the analytics. Severino hated pitching in that minor league park in Sacramento, and the numbers back him up. His road ERA was a sparkling 3.02. At home, a disastrous 6.01. That is a massive split. Smart front offices, the Dodgers, the Braves, the Rays, they see that. They know if they get him out of that ballpark, they are getting an ace. This is Moneyball 101, identifying undervalued assets due to environmental factors. Speaking of the Rays, they are the kings of maximizing value. Drew Rasmussen is back and looking lethal. After a brilliant 2025 with a 2.76 ERA, he is one of the most valuable arms in the game. He's cheap, only $5.75 million, and has a team option for 2027. Usually teams keep guys like this. But this is Tampa Bay. If someone offers a package of 3 top 100 prospects, Rasmussen is gone. They don't fall in love with players, they fall in love with value. Then we have the enigma that is Luis Arraez. The man is a hitting machine. 3 batting titles with 3 different teams. He hits on .292 in a down year, but modern baseball hates him. Why? He hits singles. He doesn't walk much. He's slow. He has no defensive home. The Giants gave him a 1-year deal because the market was cold. But come July, When teams are desperate for contact in big spots, Arias becomes a weapon. He is the guy you want up with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 9th. The analytics department might hate him, but the managers love him. Let's look at Nolan Gorman of the Cardinals. Once a top prospect, now a guy hitting .218. With Nolan Arenado traded, the path is clear for Gorman at third base, but his leash is short. St. Louis is rebuilding. If Gorman strikes out 30% of the time again, the Cardinals might decide to cut bait and trade him to a team that thinks they can fix his swing. It's a classic change of scenery trade waiting to happen. And don't sleep on Jacob Young in Washington. Elite defense in center field, but zero power. The Nationals have Robert Hassel III waiting in the wings. If Washington wants more offense, Young is the odd man out. It's the brutal cycle of prospect promotion. We are entering the heavy hitter section of the list now. These are the moves that shift the balance of power in the entire league. Let's talk about Mitch Keller in Pittsburgh. It feels like we talk about trading him every single year. He is the definition of a workhorse. 176 innings, mid-3 ERA. The Pirates are stuck in that perpetual, almost contending phase. Keller is under contract until 2028, which makes him incredibly valuable. If the Pirates are 10 games back, trading Keller could bring back a haul that finally pushes their rebuild over the finish line. Fans in Pittsburgh are tired of next year, but trading Keller might be the smartest long-term play. But the biggest wild card on the mound is Sandy Alcantara. The 2022 Cy Young winner has been through hell. Tommy John surgery, a rough return in 2025 with an ERA over 5.0. The Marlins held onto him, betting on a resurgence. This is a high-stakes gamble. If Alcantara comes out throwing 90 sinkers and looking like his old self, his trade value skyrockets. If he struggles, his value tanks. The Marlins are walking a tightrope here. A healthy Alcantara changes a playoff rotation from good to terrifying. Imagine him as a number 2 starter on the Dodgers or Yankees. That's the scenario that keeps GMs awake at night. Now, let's look at the shortstop market. C.J. Abrams of the Nationals. He is 25, coming off a 2030 season and under team control. Why on earth would Washington trade him? Because the new front office might want to build their team, not inherit one. They already moved Mackenzie Gore. If they get blown away by an offer, Abrams could be the shocker of the deadline. It makes zero sense to me personally, but I've seen crazier things happen when new GMs want to make a mark. Let's shift to the bullpen again with Pete Fairbanks. He's with the Marlins on a 1-year deal. This is the easiest prediction on the board. If Miami is bad, and they likely will be, Fairbanks is gone. He's an elite closer with a sub-3.0 ERA. Contenders pay a premium for 9th inning security. It's simple supply and demand. Then there is the Colorado Rockies situation. Brenton Doyle is a Gold Glove center fielder with power. He plays in Coors Field, sure, but his defense travels. The Rockies need everything. They need pitching. They need depth. Keeping a prime asset like Doyle on a 60-loss team is malpractice. The same goes for their closer, Victor Vodnik. A 3.02 ERA in Colorado is like a 1.50 ERA anywhere else. He induces ground balls, which is crucial. If the Rockies are smart, and that's a big if, historically, they liquidate these guys for a massive infusion of talent. We are in the home stretch, and the names just keep getting more interesting. Look at Alec Bohm in Philly. He has been a solid soldier for the Phillies, but the power outage is concerning. He's hitting .280, but the slugging percentage is dropping. He's a free agent soon. If the Phillies want to shake up that infield or free up money for a bigger splash, Bohm is the sacrificial lamb. It's tough, but championship windows don't stay open forever. Then there's Sam Moll of the Reds, a lefty specialist coming off a bad year due to injury. If he bounces back, he's gone. Every contender needs a lefty to get big outs in the 7th inning. It's the most predictable trade in baseball. Same with Merrill Kelly in Arizona. He's 37. He's reliable. If the Diamondbacks aren't winning, there is no reason to keep him. He's the perfect rental for a team that needs a veteran to stabilize a rotation for a playoff push. But the Arizona situation gets spicy with Ketel Marte. The rumors were flying all winter. He's an MVP caliber player signed through 2030. Trading him signals a full teardown. The D-backs said they aren't moving him, but if they are 15 games back in July, all bets are off. A Marte trade would be the blockbuster of the decade, reshaping the league instantly. In New York, the Mets still have Kodai Senga. He's 33, coming off injuries, and the Mets have young arms like Jonah Tong rising fast. If Senga struggles or can't stay healthy, the Mets might cut their losses. But if he's elite, he stays. He is the ultimate wait-and-see candidate. And finally, the Baltimore logjam, involving Samuel Basallo. This kid is a phenom, a 21-year-old catcher-first baseman with massive power. But the Orioles have Adley Rutschman, they have Ryan Mountcastle, they just signed Pete Alonso. There aren't enough at-bats to go around. Basallo is too talented to sit on the bench or play in AAA. He is the golden ticket. If the Orioles want to trade for a Tarik Skubal or a Mason Miller, Basallo is the headline of that trade package. And a quick nod to Robert Stevenson with the Angels. If he proves he's healthy, he's another bullpen arm that will be wearing a new uniform in August. So, here is the bottom line, guys. The 2026 season is going to be defined by who stays and who goes. The landscape of the league changes in July. Don't get too attached to the names on the back of the jerseys, because loyalty is a rare commodity these days. I want to hear from you in the comments. Which of these players do you think is absolutely guaranteed to be traded? Is there a dark horse candidate I missed? And if you are a Tigers fan, how are you handling the Skubal anxiety? Let me know. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for more exclusive deep dives, and I'll see you at the ballpark. Peace.